Sunday, August 24th. The Code of the Covenant. At Sinai, with the giving of His law, God set the foundation of teaching His people how, through connection with Him, they could live holy lives. But the principles of the law needed to be applied in everyday life, so God gave them additional laws, the so-called Code of the Covenant. It was the responsibility of judges to watch over these laws and to apply them correctly. The minds of the people, blinded and debased by slavery and hedonism, were not prepared to appreciate fully the far-reaching principle for God's 10 precepts. That the obligation of the Decalogue might be more fully understood and enforced, additionally, precepts were given illustrating and applying the principles of the Ten Commandments. These laws were called judgments, both because they were framed in infinitive wisdom and equity, and because the magistrates were to give judgment according to them. Unlike the Ten Commandments, they were delivered privately to Moses, who was to communicate them to the people. Let's read Exodus 21 verses 1 to 32. What specific regulations were given regarding Hebrew slaves, homicide, and bodily injuries? Now these are the judgments which you shall set before them. If you buy a Hebrew servant, he shall serve 6 years, and in the 7th he shall go out free and pay nothing. If he comes in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he comes in married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master has given him a wife, and he has borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. But if the servant plainly says, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him to the judges. He shall also bring him to the door or to the door spot, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. And if a man sells his daughter to be a female slave, he shall not go out as the male slaves do. If she does not please her master, who has betrothed her to himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall not have right to sell her to a foreign people, since he has dealt deceitfully with her, and he has betrothed her to his son. He shall deal with her according to the customs of daughters. If he takes another wife, he shall not diminish her food, her clothing, and her marriage rights. And he does not do these 3 for her, then he shall go out free, without paying money. He who strikes a man so that he dies shall surely be put to death. However, if he did not lie in wait, but God delivered him into his hand, then I will appoint for you a place where he may flee. But if a man acts with premeditation against his neighbor to kill him by treachery, you shall take him from my altar that he may die. And he who strikes his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He who kidnaps a man and sells him, or he is found in his hand, shall surely be put to death. And he who curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. If men contend with each other, and one strikes the other with a stone or with his fist, and he does not die, but is confined to his bed, if he rises again and walks about outside with his staff, then he who struck him shall be acquitted. He shall only pay for the loss of his time, and shall provide for him to be thoroughly healed. And if a man beats his female or male servant with a rod, so that he dies under his hand, he shall surely be punished. Notwithstanding, if he remains alive a day or 2, he shall not be punished, for he is his property. If men fight and hurt a woman with child, so that she gives birth prematurely, yet no harm follows, he shall surely be punished accordingly as the woman's husband imposes on him. and he shall pay as the judges determine. But if any harm follows, then you shall give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. If a man strikes the eye of his male or female servant and destroys it, he shall let him go free for the sake of his eye. And he knocks out the tooth of his male or female servant, he shall let him go free for the sake of his tooth. If an ox gores a man or a woman to death, then the ox shall surely be stoned, and its flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be acquitted. But if the ox tended to thrust with its horn in times past, and it has been made known to his owner, he has not kept it confined, so that it has killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and its owner also shall be put to death. If there is imposed on him a sum of money, then he shall pay to redeem his life. Whatever is imposed on him, whether it has gored a son or gored a daughter, according to his judgment, it shall be done to him. If the ox gores a male or female servant, he shall give to their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. The Code of the Covenant is described in several chapters. All these regulations and laws were issued to stop the avalanche of evil and to build an orderly society. The slavery laws were special and should not be confused with the vicious and evil practice of modern and medieval slavery. Hebrew slaves were in fact protected and valued. In modern and medieval societies, servants and slaves were the property of their owner, who could do whatever they wished with them. In contrast, biblical laws regulated things differently. Servitude was limited to 6 years, and in the 7th year, all slaves had to be liberated unless they wanted to stay with their master. Master also had to give them Sabbaths off and provide for their basic needs. All of that is mentioned in Exodus 21, verses 1 to Jeremiah 34, 8 to 22, and Exodus 20, verses 9 and 10. Now, in most of the world, the evil practice of institutionalized slavery has for the most part been abolished. What are ways in which some of the principles of it still exist? And what can we do in our own limited sphere to fight against these principles?